Kia ora koutou, welcome everybody. Pulopa lava, pulopa naka. Welcome to this short segment on learning differences. I'm here with my colleague Annette Tofiono from Aotearoa. Welcome Annette, it's good to see you.
Kia ora, Graham, nice to see you too.
Awesome. So we've got three of these sessions. We're going to talk about learning differences, and this kind of comes under the umbrella of neurodiversity. And it's great that you can share some of your experiences and some of your expertise in this area. So let's just kick it off with today's session. We want to talk about learning differences. So the first question is, how would you define learning differences in the context of adult learners? So what are learning differences, I guess, in a nutshell?
I think learning differences is a term that fits really well for me and for many other people, because it's a term about just people that learn differently. We don't all learn the same, and that learning in a different way is a difference, not a disability. And I think as educators or anyone actually struggle with what term to use. You know, is it a learning difficulty? Is it a literacy difficulty? Is it a learning disability? So there's all these terms, and then we have in there neurodiversity as well. So I think using the term learning differences, that includes everyone, and that might include our kunga that are just due to lack of education and they need a little bit more help and support, and they may need different ways of learning. So it doesn't always mean that there's a neurodiversity in there.
You've been quite careful in the terminology that you've used when we've been talking about this. So it's good to be able to just unpack that a little bit, just so people have some clarity around that. What are some of the common learning differences that educators might encounter with their students, with their hakonga?
I think a lot of that are coming up, and probably my area of specialty is dyslexia. So dyslexia is, probably one of the more widely known neurodiversities, which is, some say that it's challenges with text, but some say there's just different ways of doing things, and you may be a dyslexic thinker and you just may be thinking of things differently. Other ones may include dyscalculia, which is difficulty with numbers, dysgraphia, difficulty with reading. We have dyspraxia, which is more physical and coordination, and then we have others that come into it, maybe Irlen syndrome, ADHD, autism. And then, as mentioned before, we may just have the akunga that didn't have very much schooling or education, or they didn't fit in, so the learning was very limited. So then there may be literacy difficulties, or just difficulties in the way that we as educators, I guess, are trying to make them learn. And I think that's the thing with people with learning differences. It's becoming more about us learning more about not accommodating, but ensuring they fit and are included in education.